According to the Homeless Hub, the figure of homeless people in any year in Canada ranges from 850,000 to 1 million. However, there could be many more people without a permanent home in Canada. It is difficult to know the exact number because many are hidden homeless. Statistics Canada sheds light on this hidden population. Their 2023 survey revealed that over 18% of Canadians, or roughly 2.7 million people, have experienced homelessness in their lifetime. This indicates a far greater number than those solely relying on shelters. Canada also grapples with a harsh reality: child homelessness. Despite its wealth, thousands of children lack a safe and stable place to call home. Estimates suggest that between 45,000 and 50,000 children experience homelessness in Canada each year. These numbers only reflect those using shelters, and the true figure could be higher if we consider those couchsurfing, living in overcrowded conditions, or streets. The number of homeless youth in Canada is staggering. Statistics point to around 85,000 to 93,000 youth aged 13 to 24 experiencing homelessness annually. This translates to thousands on any given night seeking shelter in hostels, with friends, or even on the streets. Even more concerning is the fact that a significant portion of homeless youth, around 40%, experience homelessness before the age of 16, indicating a disruption in their childhood and a lack of secure family environments. Demographics of homeless people in Canada. While homelessness can strike anyone, some populations are disproportionately represented. A study by Statistics Canada found that 5% of Black Canadians have experienced homelessness, compared to just 2% of the general population. Indigenous peoples in Canada face a staggering disparity in homelessness rates. Though constituting only 4.3% of the general population, they make up a staggering 28 to 34% of the homeless shelter population. Gender also plays a role. Men are more likely to be seen on the streets, constituting roughly 62% of the homeless population. However, women may be undercounted due to safety concerns and a tendency to seek shelter with friends or family, putting them at risk of hidden homelessness. Cost of homelessness in Canada. Beyond the individual struggles, homelessness also carries a significant financial burden for Canadian society. The most commonly cited figure for the annual cost of homelessness in Canada is $17.05 billion. This staggering sum encompasses the expenses of emergency shelters, community support programs, and the increased strain placed on emergency services, healthcare, and the justice system. Essentially, when people are left without a home, they rely more heavily on these public services, driving costs up. Research has delved deeper, examining the cost per person experiencing homelessness. Studies focusing on individuals with mental illness indicate an annual cost ranging from $35,000 in smaller cities to a staggering $64,000 in larger centers like Toronto. This breakdown reveals the high cost of reactive measures compared to preventative solutions. One of the most readily apparent costs is the upkeep of emergency shelters and transitional housing facilities. These vital services provide temporary accommodation and support for homeless individuals and families. However, maintaining these shelters comes at a price. Studies estimate that sheltering a homeless person can range from $13,000 to $45,000 annually. The second largest cost was related to legal issues, including incarceration, police interaction, and court appearances. This translated into a high of 25% in Toronto, or nearly $15,000 per person. The other cities ranged from 15% to closer to 20%. A third key area was the cost of shelters and supported housing. There was a range, with Montreal hitting close to 18%, while the other cities hovered between 10% in Winnipeg to about 14% in Toronto. Most homeless cities in Canada. Homelessness is a complex issue plaguing many developed nations, and Canada is no exception. Certain cities, particularly larger metropolitan areas, face a more acute challenge. Here, we'll explore 5 Canadian municipalities facing significant homelessness challenges. 5. Calgary, Alberta. Calgary, a city known for its economic prosperity and stunning natural beauty, grapples with a persistent and complex social issue: homelessness. Despite its relative wealth, A significant portion of the Calgarian population lives without stable housing. The most recent point-in-time count conducted by the Calgary Homeless Foundation in September 2023 placed the total homeless population at 22,782. Diving deeper. The data reveals a breakdown between sheltered and unsheltered homelessness. In 2022, 44%, 10,187 of Calgary's homeless population were sheltered, meaning they utilized emergency shelters, transitional housing, or other programs. The remaining 56%, around 12,395, were classified as unsheltered, living on the streets, in encampments, or temporary situations. Understanding demographics within the homeless population is also crucial. The 2023 count found that 30.1% identified as indigenous, a significant disparity compared to Calgary's overall demographics. Additionally, 10% were youth, aged 13 to 24, highlighting the vulnerability of young people. The gender breakdown showed a higher proportion of males, 66%, compared to females, 32%. While pinpointing an exact number is difficult due to the transient nature of homelessness, estimates suggest a concerning reality. 2021 University of Calgary study revealed that over 25% of emergency shelter beds were filled by new individuals each year. The Calgary Drop-In Center also reported a 26% rise in those seeking shelter in 2023 compared to the previous year. The City of Calgary employs an encampment response team, ERT, to manage encampments, temporary settlements formed by homeless people on public land. The ERT prioritizes the safety of both residents and those experiencing homelessness. Their goal is to connect encampment residents with housing options before resorting to enforcement measures. 4. Edmonton, Alberta. The most recent comprehensive data comes from the 2023 point-in-time count conducted by Edmonton social agencies. This one-day snapshot identified a total of 26,519 individuals experiencing homelessness in the city. This number encompasses a spectrum of situations, including those staying in emergency shelters, 8,660, transitional housing, 3,525, and provisional accommodations, 1,893, as well as those living unsheltered, 10,606. It's important to acknowledge the limitations of PIT counts. They offer a single-day glimpse, potentially missing individuals who recently became homeless, or those hesitant to engage with the count. Additionally, PIT counts don't capture the hidden homeless individuals precariously housed, with friends or family on the verge of homelessness themselves. Looking beyond the headline figure, the 2023 count sheds light on the demographics of Edmonton's homeless population. Indigenous peoples are disproportionately represented, accounting for 54% of those counted. Youth aged 18 to 24 comprise another significant segment at 11.6%. These demographics highlight the complex social factors that contribute to homelessness. One of the most contested measures is the bylaw prohibiting structures like tents in public spaces in Edmonton. Proponents argue that such structures create sanitation concerns and obstruct public access. They point to safety hazards like fires and the potential for criminal activity within encampments. However, critics counter that these bylaws essentially criminalize homelessness, pushing people further into the margins and away from potential resources or support networks. 3. Montreal, Quebec. Montreal, a vibrant Canadian metropolis, faces a stark reality: a significant and growing homeless population. While pinpointing an exact number is difficult, the latest data from October 2023 paints a concerning picture. Montreal has the highest number of homeless people in Quebec, with an estimated 27,690 individuals. This figure represents roughly 60% of the province's total homeless population. It's important to acknowledge limitations in these statistics. Homeless counts typically capture those visible on the streets or in shelters on a specific date. This doesn't account for hidden homelessness, which includes individuals precariously housed with friends or family, couchsurfing, or in unstable living situations. Looking back, the situation has worsened. Data from 2018 suggests Montreal's share of Quebec's homeless population was considerably higher at 80%, while the overall provincial numbers have risen. The percentage decrease for Montreal might indicate a spread of homelessness to other regions. Nevertheless, Montreal continues to bear a significant burden. Several factors contribute to this complex issue. Rising housing costs and low vacancy rates make finding affordable housing incredibly challenging. Limited access to social services and mental health support further marginalizes vulnerable individuals. Additionally, the economic precarity experienced by many can be a catalyst for homelessness, with job losses or insufficient income pushing people over the edge. Understanding the scope of homelessness in Montreal is crucial for creating effective solutions. Advocacy groups emphasize the need for increased investment in affordable housing initiatives, along with expanded support services. Addressing the root causes poverty, mental health challenges, and social exclusion is essential for long-term progress. 2. Vancouver, British Columbia. The most recent homeless count in the city of Vancouver itself. Over 27,041 people experiencing homelessness. This represents a specific snapshot within the city limits. However, a broader perspective is offered by the 2023 Greater Vancouver Homeless Count. This more extensive survey found a staggering 29,041 people experiencing homelessness, a 32% increase compared to 2020. Beyond the raw numbers, the data reveals a breakdown of those experiencing homelessness. The 2020 Vancouver count indicated that 74% were experiencing chronic homelessness, while 26% faced episodic homelessness. This distinction highlights the varying experiences of homelessness, with some individuals facing long-term struggles, and others encountering temporary periods of housing insecurity. Vancouver's ethnic makeup paints a picture of a global city, while European Canadians hold the largest share at 46.2%. A significant portion of the population belongs to visible minority groups, 54.5%. The most prominent visible minority groups include Chinese 27.7%, South Asians 6%, Filipinos 6%, and Southeast Asians 3%. This rich diversity is a legacy of continuous immigration waves, with historical influxes from Britain and Ireland shaping the early demographics. Vancouver's demographic profile extends beyond ethnicity. The city leans slightly towards a younger population, with the 25 to 34 age group being the largest. This trend reflects Vancouver's appeal to young professionals and students seeking career opportunities and a dynamic urban lifestyle. The average age sits at 42.2, indicating a healthy balance between young and established residents. When it comes to marital status, Vancouver exhibits a trend towards a higher proportion of singles, 36.9%, compared to married couples, 39%. This could be attributed to the city's fast-paced lifestyle and focus on career pursuits among young adults. Number 1. Toronto, Ontario. Point-in-time homeless counts conducted on a specific night offer a snapshot but miss those who are hidden or couchsurfing. The 2023 Toronto Street Needs Assessment estimated 48,347 people experiencing homelessness. Organizations like Fred Victor suggest the number could be much higher, exceeding 74,000. This discrepancy highlights the limitations of current methods and the need for more comprehensive data collection. One alarming trend is the rise in youth homelessness. Youths aged 16 to 24 comprise around 11% of the homeless population, highlighting the vulnerability of this age group. Additionally, a significant portion, around 32%, fall within the 45 to 64 age bracket, indicating the challenges faced by middle-aged adults. Seniors experiencing homelessness have also shown a worrying increase. Indigenous people make up a tiny fraction of Toronto's overall population, but a shocking 23% of the homeless population identify as Indigenous. The hidden nature of this homelessness makes it difficult to quantify its exact prevalence. However, estimates suggest that hidden homelessness in Canada could reach as high as 150,000 people on any given night. One key point of contention is the definition of anti-homeless laws. While Toronto lacks an explicit ban on homelessness, certain bylaws and enforcement practices have been criticized for disproportionately impacting the homeless community. A prime example is the proposed camping ban within the streets by law. This measure aimed to criminalize sleeping or residing in public spaces like sidewalks and parks. Proponents argued it would improve public safety and hygiene. The legal landscape surrounding these laws is another battleground. Courts have previously struck down similar measures in other Canadian cities, citing the right to life and security of person enshrined in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. In the context of Toronto's camping ban, advocates argued that without enough shelter spaces, criminalizing sleeping outdoors would be unconstitutional. Life on the streets. Meet Sarah, once a thriving professional with a promising career. Sarah's life took an unexpected turn when she lost her job due to corporate downsizing. With mounting bills and dwindling savings, she found herself on the brink of homelessness. Despite her best efforts to secure employment, the months turned into years, and Sarah's situation only worsened. Unable to afford rent, Sarah was evicted from her apartment, leaving her with nowhere to turn, with nowhere else to go. She sought refuge in shelters and temporary housing, navigating a maze of bureaucracy and waiting lists in search of stability. Each day brought new challenges: finding a meal, staying safe on the streets, and preserving her dignity in the face of adversity. Life on the streets was harsh and unforgiving. Sarah encountered countless obstacles, from hostile encounters with strangers to the constant struggle to find a safe place to sleep. Basic necessities such as food, water, and hygiene became luxuries, as she scrounged for scraps and relied on the generosity of strangers and charitable organizations to survive. The toll on Sarah's physical and mental health was profound. Days blurred into nights as she battled exhaustion, hunger, and despair. The stigma of homelessness weighed heavily on her spirit, eroding her sense of self-worth and belonging. Despite the challenges she faced, Sarah refused to lose hope. With the support of outreach workers and social service agencies, she embarked on a journey towards reclaiming her life. Through perseverance and determination, she accessed resources for housing assistance, employment training, and mental health counseling, laying the foundation for a brighter future. In addition to physical safety, there are also concerns about the safety of one's belongings. Homeless individuals often carry all their possessions with them, making them targets for theft and vandalism. Without a secure place to store their belongings, they are forced to remain vigilant at all times, never truly able to relax or let their guard down. Food insecurity is another significant challenge faced by homeless individuals. Many rely on soup kitchens, food banks, and charitable organizations for their next meal, with limited access to nutritious options. For some, the daily struggle to find enough food to eat becomes a constant source of stress and anxiety, overshadowing every other aspect of their lives. Life on the streets is a harsh and unforgiving reality for homeless individuals, marked by daily challenges and struggles for survival. From safety concerns to food insecurity, the obstacles they face are daunting and pervasive, perpetuating a cycle of poverty and despair. Can Canada end the homelessness crisis? Homelessness in Canada casts a long shadow, despite its reputation for social welfare. The nation grapples with a growing number of citizens living on streets, or precariously close to losing their homes. While the challenge seems daunting, experts and advocates believe ending homelessness is achievable, but it requires a multi-pronged approach with significant social and economic investment. Understanding the root causes of homelessness is crucial. The lack of affordable housing is a primary factor. Declining rental vacancy rates and skyrocketing rents make it difficult, especially for low-income individuals and families. Beyond the housing crisis, other factors contribute to homelessness. Mental health issues and domestic violence can all lead to housing instability. Indigenous communities face disproportionate rates of homelessness due to historical dispossession and ongoing social marginalization. The precarity of employment, with a rise in low-wage, part-time jobs offering limited benefits, further strains financial security. Addressing these complex issues requires a comprehensive strategy. Increasing the supply of affordable housing is paramount. This includes building new social housing units, providing rent supplements for low-income earners, and incentivizing the development of affordable rental units. Additionally, streamlining the application process for social housing and ensuring its accessibility can help those most in need. Investing in preventative measures is also critical. Strengthening social safety nets, including income assistance programs, can ensure individuals and families have the resources to afford housing. Mental health and addiction services need to be readily available and well-funded to address underlying issues that contribute to homelessness. Collaboration across all levels of government is essential. The federal government can provide leadership and funding, while provincial and municipal governments develop and implement tailored solutions for their communities. Engaging with indigenous communities is crucial to address their specific needs and ensure culturally appropriate support. Collaboration between government agencies and nonprofits ensures a coordinated approach and avoids duplication of services. The success of any plan hinges on long-term commitment. Homelessness is not a quick fix. It requires sustained investment and ongoing monitoring to measure progress and adapt strategies as needed. Ending homelessness is not just a moral imperative, it's an economic one. The associated costs of homelessness, including healthcare utilization, emergency services, and lost productivity, are significant. Investing in ending homelessness is an investment in a more just and prosperous society.